feel a little naked without a little hat. I'm just gonna say... Oh hey! Hi, it's me, Wilma Fingerdoo, with the Fingerdoo review of RuPaul's Drag Race España, Season 1, Episode 3. And before we get started, well, I got some tipper-doos to thank. First off, Sean Putnam sent me a tip thanking me for the shades that I was pulling down in my review of Drag Race Down Under Episode 7. You're welcome, Sean. What can I say? I gots to call him as I sees him, seriously. Also, Dawn Rowlands from North Wales wanted to show me her appreciation for my videos helping distract her during her bad pain days. It's my pleasure, Dawn, and I hope those days are far and few between, seriously. Now, if you want to be a tipper-do and help support this channel, the link is in the description box down below. Also, I've got some Redbubble models to show off this week. You heard me. First up, well, Lard D'Souza modeling his own Pet Me Papa t-shirt design, as well as some rockin' COVID hair, bless. Now, for those of you who asked yourself, why does the name Lard D'Souza sound familiar? Well, Lar is the artist who created my Wilma Pride image that you can get on just about anything you want off my Redbubble store. And for the month of June, all the proceeds I collect from each sale will be donated to Rainbow Railroad, a fabulous charity that helps our LGBTQIA plus family escape persecution, incarceration, and possibly death just for being who they are in their own countries. I have a link to Rainbow Railroad down below if you want to learn more about them or if you want to donate directly to them, and a link to my Redbubble page that has the Wilma Pride design on it. So far, we've raised just over $106. So on behalf of Rainbow Railroad and the people they help, thank you so much. I'm so serious. Now, speaking of helping people, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button before you go, because it'll help me reach more viewers and hopefully increase my subscribers. Speaking of, if this isn't your first visit to the Fingerdoo review and you're not subscribed, well then click on that button as well, for the love of Christmas. I'm so serious. And don't forget to hit that bell next to it so that you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Now, let's get to it. Jorge, drink me. Ooh, thank you, Jorge. Another Cuba Libre. You know this show's in Spain, right? It's still delicious. I don't care where it's from. All right, let's get to it. The queens were still reeling at the thought of Drag Volcano getting eliminated last week. Wow, Arancia was worried that Las Grand Canarias would ban her from future visits for being the one to do it. I'd be worried too. Carmen thought it should be Arancia that was sent home, but I'm not sure that had anything to do with the lip sync. Still, it didn't stop her from being congratulated for her second win, although I don't feel that Poopy's heart was in it. They clashed horns there for a moment, but Poopy seemed to beat a hasty retreat, all in the name of needing to get out of her drag. The next day, Poopy was still letting her jealousy rule her mouth where Carmen was concerned, but she was no match for the queen of the mean girls. Seriously. Look at that pinched little face. If Poopy can't focus on why she's there, she won't be there for long. I'm so serious. Thank God Supreme interrupted the Shade Fest with this week's mini challenge, and two members of the pit crew, you heard me, with their hands full of bags. You still heard me. Just saying. The queens had to use the football gear in their bags to create a signature rookie look and sports card bio. Being such sports aficionados, the queens were thrilled. I don't know how long they had to create their looks, but by the look of some of them, they didn't get long, I'm just going to say. Arancia was first, and I think she played it very safe. Although, are there cheerleaders in football? I thought that was the audience's job, I'm just going to say. Killer was next, and I was impressed that such a cute doctor could do that to themselves. Seriously. Sagittaria played it safe as well, and by safe, I mean cute. Although, I'm sure she thought she was channeling some poopy poison. Well, Poopy anyway. Carmen was another one who I'm sure thought she looked ugly funny. Hey, at least she's having thoughts. I have to admit, I was impressed by Tavima's utter abandonment of beauty here. In fact, if they hadn't told us who it was, I'd still be wondering. Seriously. I don't mean for this to sound disrespectful, but damn, Horatio, I may need to sleep with the lights on after seeing that. Seriously, what did that blue eyeshadow ever do to her? Inti was another one who seemed quite comfortable in this challenge. She looked like she'd been chewing on a bag of rusty nails. Seriously. Poopy poison let it all hang out. Literally. And I'm not talking in a pit crew kind of way either. Hang being the operative word. So, when the Players' Parade had finally come to an end, it was Killer Queen who was named MVP, and well deserved. To celebrate, the queens humiliated themselves further by proving why they're drag queens and not football stars. Bless. Once they'd all hit the showers, it was time to announce the Maxi Challenge. In honor of the gay Spanish anthem Mocatriz by the comedy duo Untitled Chapter. By the way, Mocatriz is an acronym for the words model, singer, and actress. Side note, Untitled Chapter translates to whole heat. Just to give you some perspective. Mocatriz has become a meme within the gay community in Spain, using it as a form of shade. Calling somebody Mocatriz means they frequent the night scene and like to be around famous people or influencers, aka the Kardashians. The queens would have to become their own Mocatriz by designing advertising campaigns to promote one of 4 magazines: Nasty Girls, Glamour, Grannies, or Hookers. Do hookers even have time enough to read? As the winner of the mini challenge, Killer not only got to pick her partner and magazine, but got to assign the partners and magazines for the other queens. Seriously. For herself, Killer picked Arancia to work with. I would have to say that would have been my choice too. And their magazine would be Grannies, even though Poopy was sure she would get stuck being a granny. Well, it doesn't mean she can't still be it. Killer then gave the magazine Glamour to Carmen, much to Carmen's chagrin. Carmen says she wants to show the judges more range, but I have yet to believe that. Her partner, Davima. Davima seemed thrilled, or at the very least titillated. To continue the typecasting, Killer picked Sagittaria and Inti to be hookers. Neither of them complained, which left Nasty Girls for Poopy and Horatio. Poor Horatio. Right away, the queens got down to work creating their characters. Poopy seemed offended that Killer had given glamour to Carmen, but Carmen didn't care. She said she would have been happy with any of the choices, which just seemed to irritate Poopy more. While Killer and Arancia got ready, Killer shared her experience of being bullied in school for being a fat kid. The story about kids trying to take her picture with their cell phones while she was getting ready for swim class was horrifying. I'm so glad we didn't have cell phones when I was a kid. This is the root of my hatred for bullies. Why pick on someone who's already a loser in your eyes? If you're good looking or have a great body, or both, bless you, why isn't that enough? Why do these people have to claim their heatherness by picking on the boogers? It just makes them ugly. Well, to me anyway. Carmen must have sensed this, because while Sagittaria made fun of Arancia and Killer for talking too much and not getting ready, Carmen publicly resigned from the anti-ugly brigade, stating that everyone's beautiful. Although she got a round of applause from the workroom, I'm with Poopy. I don't buy it. $5 says Carmen's back to bullying the boogers next week, especially if she doesn't win the next challenge. Mark it down. And then it was time for the queens to release their inner Mocatriz. Modeling was the first challenge. The grannies did okay, from what I could understand, although Arancia felt Killer's nerves caused her to be a bit of a chatterbox. She did understand they were just taking pictures, no? Carmen and Davima were next with Glamour. Although, truth be told, I thought Davima out-glamoured Carmen. Just a bit. Even when their glamour got down on all fours. Maybe glamour means something different in Spain. The Nasty Girls were next, and I, for one, thought they nailed it. I mean, they look pretty nasty to me. The Hookers were next, and right away, I was worried for Inti. Sagittaria seemed to know exactly what was going on, while Inti looked like she was doing math in her head. Another thing that was painfully clear was that Inti contributed nothing to their characters or theme. Well, at least she looked good. Next in the mocatrice oeuvre was singer. The queens had to sing, well, lip sync, to A.B. Sota's Cha-Cha Bitch featuring RuPaul while running on a treadmill. That's so Beyonce. Dovima was first. I thought she did a good job, and by that, I mean she didn't fall off. Carmen seemed to have lost her top somehow. I was shocked. Killer stayed in character and didn't seem to have trouble staying on the treadmill, but then she does have a lower center of gravity, while Arancia just held on for dear life. Horatio threw herself into the task at hand, which is probably how she fell off, and why she was able to hop right back on again. Poopy had no trouble staying upright, but then she had the pit crew offering her something to hold on to for balance, but it didn't look like she wanted to use her hands. Who would? Inti seemed to be let down with her death grip on the treadmill, but Sagittaria gave it her all with her mouth. And then, finally, it was time to act. For their scene, Horatio and Poopy had to improvise, one of them getting the wax from hell. They seemed to go big with their characters, which I find always helps with improv. Supreme seemed entertained at least. Arancia and Killer's trip to the disco seemed to go well too, even though there wasn't a lot of dancing going on. The hookers were next, and for their scene, they had to have crossed phone lines during a call with a client. Well, this seemed to be the least successful of the group. I felt that Supreme really had to lead Inti through the scene. It certainly had Sagittaria worried I'm so serious. Last but not least was Carmen and Dovima. They had to portray two friends who find out they're dating the same man. Well, Supreme seemed to enjoy it at any rate. Probably because she's been there. And then it was time for the runway. Supreme looked spectacular in her emerald-structured fantasy. Joining her at the judges' table was Javier Ambrosi, looking devilish in his detailed collar. Anna Locking looked extraordinary in orange. Javier Calvo wasn't looking too bad either, even though he forgot to put on a shirt. But I do have a question. Weren't Las Havas supposed to alternate on the judging panel? I know it's only been 3 episodes in, but they've been there for all 3 so far. I mean, not that I'm complaining. And joining the 3 amigos this week, the writer of Mocatrice and half of the comedy duo Ojet Calor, Carlos Areces. Am I saying that right? First, Poopy Poison serving us Madrid realness with an homage to the city's famous El Oso y el Madroño statue on her head. As over-the-top as this look was, I also thought this is one of the best looks we've seen on Poopy this season so far, so I gave her a Fingerdoo, seriously. Inti was next, and right away all I had to say is, this is someone who's supposed to walk the runway category at balls? She should slay that runway every time she steps out on it. So when her first move was to put her back to the judges and then just shrug her arms up dismissively to show off that gorgeous cape, I was already disappointed. Then I saw her makeup. This was a huge missed opportunity for Inti to show the world what she can do. Or maybe that is all she can do. At 20, she may still think that her being there is enough. Either way, I felt it would have served the costume better if they just rolled it out on a mannequin instead of on her lackluster shoulders. Finger don't for Inti. Arancia was next, and what she lacked in fashion, she more than made up for it in energy. I'm sorry she got rid of that wheel of cheese so early because it was the most interesting thing about her outfit. But I get it. Arancia isn't from Castilla-La Mancha. She's from Extremadura. Whatever, good energy aside, I still had to give this look a finger don't. Horatio took my breath away. Her half-built fala in the non-binary flag colors was beyond art, and the burning heart completed not only the look, but the concept, so I had no trouble giving her a Fingerdoo. Seriously. Dovima was another stunner for me. This suit of armor notwithstanding, that dress alone was worth the price of admission, and the chainmail cowl was stunning. Fingerdoo for Dovima. I was so disappointed by Carmen's runway this week, or else I'm still having PTSD from watching Cats. Not that she looked bad, but she has looked better, and so I had to give her a finger don't. Sagittaria's creme catalana was hilarious, but in a totally good way. She looked delicious enough for me to lick my Fingerdoo for her at any rate. Just saying. Sounds so dirty. Killer Queen's look was another disappointment for me, although I did like it better than Carmen's, but still, the makeup was too busy and the front of it had nothing to do with the back of it, so I had to give her a finger don't, sorry to say. And then it was time to watch the Queen's attempt at being mocatrice. First up, Arancia and Killer. Their Granny magazine promo was fine, and their improvised scenes seemed to entertain the judges, especially when it turned into an octogenarian slutfest, but neither of them stood out for me one way or the other. Seriously. As for the judges, they all thought both queens needed to work on their signature looks. Or really just any look, I'm serious. Carmen and Dovima were next. Their glamour mag was fine, but their scene seemed to go better for me, although I felt like Carmen outshone Dovima, even though Dovima was dressed better. Maybe Carmen was jealous. I don't know. It still didn't stop them from making out. Again. I'm glad to see that Carmen had another opportunity to shed some tears during the judges' critiques, though, because it's been a hot minute. The Nasty Girl cover models, Poopy and Hugatio, were next. I have to say, they were a hoot. I think their scene would have been even funnier if Hugatio had just said, "I don't use wax," and then went in with her hands instead of miming the wax, but they were a total hoot. The judges thought so too, and Carlos Arechet loved Poopy's headpiece, mostly because it looked like chocolate. Chocolate. The hookers were next, but Sagittaria was clearly the star of this show. Inti looked good, but she gave her teammate very little to work with. Sagittaria didn't seem to care. She took the bull by the horns, or in this case, Inti by the wig, and drove that bus into the station. I was very surprised. So were the judges. They even liked her terrible Russian accent. She was doing an accent? Inti, on the other hand, seemed to be a disappointment to everyone. It obviously didn't help to have a partner who did so much better than she did. Clearly. Seriously. And then Supreme announced that Killer Queen, Arancia Castilla-La Mancha, Carmen Ferrara, and Hugatio Crujiente were all safe. So they frigged off. As for the judges' critiques, it was clear that Poopy and Sagittaria were the top two and that Dovima and Inti were in the bottom. But what was even clearer was the more the judges praised Sagittaria, the angrier Inti got. She clearly didn't agree with the judges and was almost off that stage by the time Supreme dismissed them. When they did get backstage, Inti started to de-drag. She didn't say a word to anyone, she just took off her makeup and outfit. This was such a disappointment. Inti clearly saw that she was in the bottom, so she saw no reason to stay. This is a common attitude I find with some young people today. I was talking to my Patreoner, Kate, who's a teacher, about this, and she agreed with me. There's an all-or-nothing attitude with some young people today. If they're not going to win, why try? If Inti had thought about her runway for a hot minute, she could have elevated it beautifully. Case in point, Sagittaria was standing next to her in an outfit of runny, well, creme brulee, more or less. Now, that's how you elevate a look. Seriously. I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting much from Inti, so on one level, she didn't disappoint me. But she's not helping baby queens on future shows where casting is concerned. Take note, baby queens. You're not always going to be the best, but that doesn't mean you won't win at life if you try. Seriously. So, the queens headed back to the runway where it was announced that Inti had left the building. I was surprised that they still made Dovima lip sync, though, until she said, if you wanted to see me perform, all you had to do was ask. She did a great job, and it made me forget the sour face of that quitter. What's her name? So here's to Dovima. Seriously. Let's hope next week she burns up that runway. I'm just saying. So, what did you think? Are you disappointed that Inti walked off? Were you surprised that Dovima was even in the bottom? Personally, I thought she did a better job both in the challenge and on the runway than Arancia. Should she have been in the bottom? And is Sagittaria starting to eclipse Carmen? Well, all we can do is tune in to RuPaul's Drag Race España next week to see how it all plays out. And then, when you're done, you come on back and you see me so you and I can compare notes. Now, please help my channel reach more people by hitting that thumbs up button. And if you're not subscribed to my channel yet, now's your chance. Until next week, Miss me! Mwah! Seriously, Jorge. I hate it when people quit a show. All I can think of are the people that didn't make it. There are probably 100, 200 drag queens in Spain right now screaming, Inti! But I have to tell you, there were a couple of queens that I was surprised were competing because from what I could see, they weren't really drag queens. They were more drag models. I don't know if that makes sense. I just think that you need to be able to perform like a mocantrice. You should be able to lip sync, you should be able to dance, and you should be funny if you're a drag queen, because a working drag queen has to entertain. Models just titillate. Do you know what I mean? You open a magazine, you go, ooh, ah, we're done. I don't know, that Carmen and that Poopy, they're either gonna make out or kill each other. One of the two. I'd rather see them kill each other, quite frankly.